I'm sorry, y'all. It's Saturday morning, and it's early. I got bags under my eyes. I didn't sleep too good, and it's because I was contemplating some stuff, right? Like, oof. I don't want to talk about this stuff. This is it's crazy, and we're all adults, and well, no, let's not. I'm not going to say that. We are all adult-ish. Some of us need to come forward a bit. So I had no idea what I stepped in. Morning, Shane. How you doing, brother? I had no idea what was going on, what had transpired, right? Like I live under my rock, man. I don't like to come out from under my rock. I've been in this mess too long, and so I hide in my rocks. I had no idea what was going on, and some of y'all knew, and y'all didn't tell me. When you see a pothole, when the police have a speed trap, and other people come, you're supposed to flash your lights. And my friends didn't flash the lights, and I posted a video, and it's all true. And I'm gonna warn y'all, don't say anything that's not true. Don't say anything that you can't stand by. Don't say anything that down the road, if it came out, it wasn't, true from your heart who you were right then. So apparently I'm standing in the field of a lot of cow manure, and it's stinky, and it's funky, and it's deep, and there's no one, I don't think there's really anyone to blame, but this country is, there's so many small pockets of just crazy stuff. Okay, so here's the best analogy I have for where I'm at. You know how you get in your truck? You're the only one in the truck, right? It's just a small truck. It's just you. And you smell something like somebody stepped in something. And you're the only one in the truck. And it was you. And I stepped in it. And so we got to clean it off the shoe. And this is how it goes. And so two of my friends who are, I don't even know, I hate these names because they don't mean anything, but if you don't say it, then people don't know what the hell you're talking about. They're white, okay? They stepped in a snare. And at the end of the day, there are two less activists online, in person, at marches. There are two less people who are standing up for everybody, all children of all races, who are not speaking because they're scared to speak now because they came across black code and they didn't know that there's a black code. And yes, there is. And I hate talking about these topics, but you got to put them out there because this country will never heal if we don't talk about the truth. There is a black code, right? And the manual is deep and it's full. And even black people don't know what's in black code because you could slip on black code and next thing you know, you're in a mess and this is happening and people are yelling and screaming and there's certain things you're not supposed to say, certain places you're not supposed to go, and I can't say any of the details of it. So if y'all don't kind of know what's going on, I don't want to put the details out there. One, because they didn't want me to put the details out there, and so I'm not going to do that. You have to ask yourself why you give a damn, right? Like, do you give a damn because you want to build a career? Do you give a damn because you enjoy the drama of posting about racial issues and violence and getting post likes? Do you like the drama because you were beat down all your life by a system and now you can beat other people down? Or are you involved in activism because you understand that the next generation coming if the country doesn't come together. This might be the last generation, right? Like, they're coming for all of us, and that's the reality, right? Like, you think you're cushioned and you're safe because, oh, I got a couple million in the bank. Oh, you on the list. You on the list. They're starting from the bottom and they're working their way up. They build a prison class and they build a subclass, and now there's a subclass under the subclass after you've been to prison where you can't even vote, you can't do anything. So here's the deal. You've got to upgrade black code. You gotta progress it. People don't know what it is. They don't know what they can't say, and they don't know when they can't say it. And you can't be a 1975 black person, right? Like, you can't have those rules. You have people in this country who aren't even from this country, right? And they give a damn, and they're trying to fight for kids that look like you, right? There was this saying that only Nixon could go to China, and being raised in the 80s, 70s and the 80s, we were given this saying that only Negroes can help Negroes, right? Only whites can help whites. Only Hispanics can help Hispanics. And I'm gonna tell you, it's the biggest crock of bull. If you're looking for something really well polished from me, you're not gonna get it. I'm just talking. I'm nobody. I don't know half as much as most of y'all. I'm just giving you my perspective, right? So, and I'm gonna dedicate this video to Khalif Browder. Why am I gonna dedicate it to him? Because right now you have kids of all races sitting in prison cells. Doesn't matter how many of which to me. If one child who doesn't have a fully formed frontal lobe, they don't even have a human brain, is sitting in a prison cell because of an adult wrote a law based on adult decision-making abilities. If you don't follow neuroscience, the frontal lobe is your decision-making quarters. That's what makes all your decisions. So if you're putting creatures in prison that aren't even fully formed humans yet, they don't have fully formed frontal lobes till they're 25. Khalif Browder, they pulled off the street at 16. Right? And they threw him in prison because they said that he stole someone's book bag, and then the person left the country and never responded since. And they kept him in prison for, I think it was 3 years. And his kid's sitting in prison right now who need help. If you are Asian, if you are black, if you are white, if you are crazy with half a leg, and you were fighting to get those children out, you are fighting as an abolitionist, I call you a brother. I call you a sister. You were in the fight, and we might disagree, but you were in the fight. And I will never silence your fight. And I'm not supposed to say too much. These people, their fight was silenced. They've gone to other media outlets, and they're still going to stay active, and they're still going to... Let me show you a picture. Hold on. Let me. I was out there. I was surfing the internet yesterday. I saw a picture, and it almost brought me to tears. And this is going to be a difficult one, right? So hold on. Figure out how to reverse this camera. All right. I'm not sure if you can see this. All right. So it's in a courtroom, and I'm just going to pan across here. So they got a sign that says "No children in prison." Pan all the way across, and this little lady in the corner right there. You see that? That almost brought me to tears yesterday. And the reason why it almost brought me to tears is because, and y'all know me, I don't like racial names on any terms because they're given to you by people who want you to fight with other people. That lady right there in that shirt, I don't like the name of that group. I don't because it's there because they want people to get emotional, and they want other people on the other side to fight and say, well, white lives matter and Native American lives matter, and everyone's divided, nobody's coming together. If that lady wants to pull people out of prison and you don't have time to get involved in the fight, let that lady pull people out of prison. Let that lady end slavery. Let that lady work on abolishing. So what transpired is these girls, or one of them, got caught saying something they didn't say. There are a lot of people in this world, man, who say things who don't know that you're going to perceive them as racism, right? Because you're trapped in the 1980s black mind, where 70s, and there was a lot of racism. And so if someone says the word, if they say black guy, that's racist. Let me tell you a little thing about me. So when we were kids, we grew up in Maryland, south of DC, and my parents used to take us down to Arkansas, right? That's where her family was from. They would drop us off in the middle of Tupelo, Mississippi, right? Like, oh, they drop us off down south, right? And it was because we were rowdy. It was three of us, you know. Oh, because we love you, baby, and we need you to get in touch with the country, and, you know, that was not it. We were rambunctious. We were three black kids having fun, and they were like, we got to get them the heck out the house for a couple months because they're going to drive us crazy. And so they would drop us off down in Arkansas. The different perspective I think that I have is that when you were in Washington, D.C., as a black youth back then, you could almost say what you want, do what you want, act how you want. But when you got down to Arkansas, you went through this shift, right? Like, there's certain things. You went from being a black person, you instantly became a colored person, right? And because someone called you colored, they weren't fighting words. It was because the person was trying to describe what you look like. And that's just the culture of the time down there and how people talk. So people talk in a lot of different ways, and they use descriptive terms. And it doesn't mean they're more racist than anybody else. It just means they're using descriptive terms. Right now in this country, because of this election, we have a lot of folks who are not African American fighting for kids who are locked up in these situations, kids who won't make it. If you think about Khalif Browder, he was in there for 3 years. He came out and he hung himself. There are kids right now of all races who are waiting to get out, and that's not gonna happen until a country of people come together and stop fighting. Why do I have Trump friends? I have Trump friends because I love them, I love their kids, and I do understand why they voted the way they do. And they are intelligent people, and they had logical reasons for why they did it. And if you don't have enough love in your heart to find the empathy to talk to one, to find out why they did, then you're a fool. Why do I have Clinton friends? Because I love them, and I love their kids too. Don't agree with how they voted, don't agree with how the Trump people voted. But they're intelligent people, they're logical, and they had really good reasons for why they voted the way they voted. And if both sides don't come together and say, oh, okay, so what do y'all disagree? Y'all disagree on your ideas, that's it. And 99% of everybody in this country, at the end of the day, they all want the same damn thing, right? They want a home, a car, a job, live a good life, and be left the hell alone. Which is why you have two political parties that make it exclusive to not have a car, to not have a home, to not have a good life, to not have a job, and they won't leave you the hell alone. And so they pick which aspects of other sides of the group to divide the country down the middle so nothing can get done. And it's the greatest strategy in the history of these people are geniuses, right? In these political parties, they know what they're doing. They divide you up so each year nothing gets done. Why? Because the other half of the country is going to say no. Because the minute you say the name of a president, everybody's going to fight whatever you got to say, because it triggers an endorphin response in their brain. And it's a form of mental illness. So, but this is why I don't like to say the names of the presidents, because when people say those names, it triggers a response. And if you see me in the comment area, I avoid saying the names of the presidents because it actually is a psychological thing with identity politics. So And where I'm going with this is when you use the term progress, right? It's not progress, right? If only half the country wants it, it's not progress. That's called your agenda doing things the way you want without input from another whole half of the country. That's not progress. That's doing what Hitler did, right? Like that's doing what the other side did, right? When they're in power, they push their thing and they screw you and they get screwed too. And then when they're in power, they push you and you get screwed and they get screwed too, passively, and nothing gets done. So progress is working on both sides of the aisles. And if you're not prepared to work on both sides of the aisles, or if you want to judge somebody who's working on both sides of the aisles, you're not in it for the kids. You're not in it for the country. You're not in it for the future. You are in this for you and your political party. And your political party is run by the ruling elite. So I think you have to qualify why people are in this game, what they really want, because there are a lot of people where all they want. Don't ever look at a person's race and think that you know them. Don't ever look at a person where they're coming from, if they drive a pickup truck, if they got 21-inch rims on their car. Don't ever look at them and think that you know who they are, because everyone's got a different agenda. I'm going to show you one more picture. This is another picture. Two pictures almost brought me to tears yesterday. And this one didn't, because I already know the story. I'm going to encourage everybody to go out to Spike TV and watch the Khalif Browder documentary. Please do, because it's very important that you do. Look at this picture. Hold on. I'm gonna show you a picture of Khalif Browder. There he is, right there. You see him? Hold on, let me zoom in. Let me. Do you see him? You can't see him? All right. You know why you can't see him? Because there's a black kneecap on his head. Do you see that? There's a black CO who just beat the hell out of him and threw him on the ground, right? That's why you can't see him. This world can't see kids in prison. This world can't see kids that are starving, both black and white. My God, if you go to Detroit and you see the conditions that some of those black kids live, if you go to Georgia, I was driving through Georgia, and you would think that some parts of Georgia, time forgot. There are kids on porches, beautiful white kids who look like they were straight living in slavery. So you can't see these kids because people have their knees on their faces, and they come in all races and varieties. So I'm gonna wrap this up because I've been talking. I try not to talk about this stuff too long because I hate talking about it. It is my hope that if you are in this to help anybody other than yourself, that you let people help. And I'll cheer the Democratic Party. Oh my God, I'm not going to say that. Let me say it the right way. I can't say I can't say that. No, I can't say that. Hold on, I'm going to say it the right way, because I am all for the Democratic Party as a people, because I love the people. The DNC can go to hell. And I'm smelling the DNC on other parties too, but that's another story. The Republican Party, I love the Republican Party because these are my people and I love them and I love their kids, and my kids play soccer with their kids. But the GOP, y'all got to go to hell fast. So it's only progress if it includes everybody's perspective. We need to progress Black code away from flipping out when you hear certain terms. They're emotional, they invoke a response, and they make you angry. And it's in me too. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I hear certain terms, I heard the young lady say a term, and it was I don't want to give any detail because I don't, like I said, I'm just trying to put out there. And it was like, whoa, you're not supposed to say that, you're not. And I had to catch myself like, well, wait a minute, why isn't she supposed to say that, right? Like, she's using a descriptive term, and I know her. And she is not a white supremacist. She is not racist. That woman loves kids, and that woman is doing the right thing. Solid people. Solid, and the other solid people. Everybody means well. My hope is that if you get into an altercation with somebody over misunderstandings, over black code, because they didn't grow up in the country, or they're not from the area, and they don't know that they're not supposed to say this, that, or the other, look at people's hearts. Please, people, look at their hearts. If they are in this thing and they are trying to help kids and they are trying to help repair this country and bring people together, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. You go your way, they go their way. And please don't ever post online something that you don't want to blow back up in your face. If you want a career helping people, then you need to check everything you say. You need to make sure that when you say something is true. You need to, it's not the Wild Wild West and rodeo, right? You don't get to throw racism out there when you want to. You don't get to call people racist if you don't have the details. If you don't have evidence and you don't know who you're talking to or what you're talking about, it's best to just chill and sit back. And one more thing I'm going to ask. Depending on who you are, how you grew up, what you saw, when I hear the term, and this is being real, when I hear the term black power, I think positive things. I think, wow, people lifting themselves up, trying to give kids, pride in who they are, and trying to teach them about Africa, and they come from a great land, and they live in a great land called America, and that's what I hear. But when I hear the term white power, I have a different feeling. And you know what that's called within me? There's a prejudice in there with me. There's a prejudice within everybody. And this is what this young lady was trying to explain to you people. Yes, black as hell. I can say you people. That's some more black code. What she's trying to explain is that we all have prejudices. And it has nothing to do with anything other than neuroscience and how we grew up. And if you give a damn about the future of where this country's got to go, you'll understand that not everybody thinks the way you do. And there are people, when they say black power, they just want to give young kids pride. When there are people who say white power, they just want to give young kids pride in who they are. And we should all want that. And then, of course, there are the extremists who, when they say that, they mean something different. So I'm going to shut it down. I just want to put that out there. If you're looking for something polished, I'm not the right guy. You need to go look at somebody else's channel. I drink my coffee in the morning. I spit it out and had trouble sleeping last night because this bothers me. The only thing I'm going to say with that, I'm going to wrap it up, is sometimes it is too late to pull up. There's that saying, it's never too late. No, sometimes it's too late to pull up. And I'm going to ask the adults in this conversation, because I think all your hearts are in the right place. I'm hoping all your hearts are in the right place. Pull up. Y'all need to pull up, because it's not about you. It's not about your career. It's not about your channel. It's not about, I hope it's not about those things. Pull up. These kids, they need us to act like adults. We need to act like adults. The content that I'm talking about, if you were wise, that content needs to go away. It needs to completely go away. Y'all need to heal the thing, agree to disagree, and let's get back to trying to save a country across the lines, because it takes a village to save a nation. It takes an entire village. And there's evil that lurks in both areas. Don't identify yourself as being that evil. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good day. Love y'all. find somebody that doesn't look anything like you and empathize and find out who they are. And if somebody tells you who your enemy is, that's your enemy.